Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to do a video for you. This one's probably going to be a long one, so pop some popcorn, grab yourself a drink. I got coffee, you need beer, wine, whiskey, whatever you like. Pop, coffee, I don't care. Sorry, soda. Um, Soda pop. uh, I wanted to talk on kind of the promise, the broken promise that Elixir started out with, and the state of the perfume industry in general. Now, let me start out by saying this is an opinion piece. This is not me attacking you if you like the new way fragrances are going. That's perfectly fine. This isn't for the 20-some-year-old kid either, who all they've ever known is, you know, your Invictuses and your Stronger with Yous and things like that. This is for old fuckers like me, you know, 35 plus type deal who remember fragrances when you could get different stuff. You could walk into a store. Yeah, so some things were the same. Like, I'm not blind to the fact that in the 70s and through most of the 80s, everything kind of smelled the same. I'm aware of that. You know, the barbershop type scent. But even then, you had other ones that were popular, and quite a few of them. You think of Cool Water, Fahrenheit, Amen, you know, things like that. And then you had like really bright citrus fragrances that went against the grain of the Fougere fragrance. Calvin Klein Eternity, things like, you know what I mean? So there was more options, it seemed, back then. And I also understand I am no longer the target market. I'm sorry, guys, if you're about 35 years or over, you aren't the target market. Maybe even 30 years and older, but 35 is usually where most things that are considered youthful. You're not old anymore. We're not old, but we're not young anymore. You know what I mean? We're just kind of there. And that's horrible, though, because we're a huge market. You think about 35, 40, 45, 50 plus year old men and women, but I'm talking colognes here, so we use mostly men. We are now at that age where most of us have some disposable income. A lot more than most 20 years old. Not all of them, but most of them, right? So you think we'd be more of the target market, or at least we'd get stuff that appeals to us for the most part, and we generally don't. But I want to start out first talking about what I meant by the broken promise of the Elixir. Let's start out, I mean, it wasn't the first Elixir, but it was the first real popular Elixir. It was the first Elixir to popularize the Elixir name, at least to the general masses. And that was Sauvage Elixir. And Sauvage Elixir, when it came out, really, I thought was going to be the game changer, because the fragrance industry is in dire need of something to shake it up, you know. Because whether you like them or not, you can't deny that almost everything that comes out now is, like I said, that modern masculine thing, which is a nice smell, but quite honestly, it's pretty tame. It's pretty, I don't want to say generic because that gives off a bad indication, but generic's the best way I can describe it, really. Pretty plain, pretty generic. Everything comes out, they may smell different a little bit here and there, but in general, that fresh, sweet, fresh, aromatic, slightly spicy, slightly woody base is pretty much what you're getting. Like I said, yes, some tweaks and stuff to the formula, but in general, that's what you're getting. Think about it. Or you're getting something along the gourmandish vibe, like the Stronger with Yous or the Mall Elixir or things like that, which will bring me to the Mall Elixir. I'll bring that up in the Elixir thing. But anyway, you know, so you're getting, that's kind of it that's out there, really. You get the odd one like Tom Ford Beau de Jour or, you know, something, maybe some good vetiver fragrance or something. But even in the niche market, I've noticed a lot lately that niche is becoming more safe. Now, they do take a few more risks, but they're still becoming more safe. But I'm only talking designers here. And I understand the concept. They want to make money. That sells. I get that. They're making their money. But I think they're leaving a lot of money on the table. You know what I mean? By not... You don't have to target us exclusively, us old dudes. But give us something. You know, and I thought Sauvage Elixir was going to do that. Because when it first came out, I was expecting it was just going to be Sauvage, because Sauvage was very similar to, or, you know, Sauvage Eau de Parfum, and Sauvage Parfum, Sauvage Cool Spray. They were all very similar. Like, some slight differences, but they were. Then Sauvage Elixir came out, and it was completely different scent. I was amazed. I was like, wow, they took a risk. Now, a calculated risk, a safe risk, absolutely, but still a risk. And it really did appeal to guys, you know, a lot of guys, but especially us, like I said, us old farts. You know, it really did appeal to us. I thought, great, they're going to start, you know, I waited, of course, because I didn't, but it did really well. And that should have been the proof to all these companies that, you know, we could take a bit of a risk and, you know, could have a huge hit, or it could be a bust. But I mean, that's any fragrance, right? But I mean, and these huge companies, they can take risks. People think, oh, you know, let's just talk Coty for an example, because I know people don't realize it. I didn't realize it until I looked it up a while ago. Coty is huge. Coty is the largest beauty company in the world. They are worth tens of billions of dollars a year. That's a lot of money, guys. They can afford to take a risk. Now, when you think Coty, I know most people just think Coty. Here's a list of some of the brands they own, they have a controlling interest in, or they have a voting interest. They're two different things. Controlling interest means they basically own them, but not completely outright, but what they say goes. A voting interest is kind of, they've got enough stock in the company that their vote counts. Can be outvoted, but it does count. Or they have a partnership with, which means they don't have much control over said companies, but they're still listened to. So here's a list, and this is only a list of some, and I only included the ones that fragrances are under, because there's a shit ton of like hair products and makeups and deodorants and blah, blah, blah. So here's a small list. Obviously Coty, Adidas, Burberry, Calvin Klein, David Beckham, David Off. This one kind of surprised me. Dolce & Gabbana, Escada. This one really surprised me. Gucci. I couldn't find out if they owned Gucci or had a controlling interest in it, but it's enough that they're listed under their thing in their itinerary. Hugo Boss, the James Bond brand. Jovan, however you want to say it. Katy Perry. Lacoste. Marc Jacobs. Nautica. Roberto Cavalli. And Tiffany. That's a lot. And there's other ones, like, I know they have some say in Paco Rabanne, I believe. And Estee Lauder, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot. So Coty, either owning or having a good chance of telling them what to do, could say, let's make some fragrances for the, not necessarily the old man. I say old man all the time, but the middle-aged guy, you know, 40 plus. Let's make some fragrances for him. And they could do it. And what I'm getting at with the Elixir, like I said, I know I'm all over the place, but it's just the way I am, and you guys know that. Coty could do it. You know, and in turn, that means pretty much everybody could do it. Burberry, Gucci, Hugo Boss. Hugo Boss did take a risk, though. I liked it. That was their Elixir. We'll get into it, though. You know, Nautica. I mean, I'd love to see Coty just come up with a Coty line. They've got the money. A nice Coty line at a decent price, you know. It doesn't have to be, you know, Gravity, your preferred stock. Come with like a Cody Privé line or something where, you know, they're 100, 150 bucks, you know, average designer prices. But really good stuff. I think that would be really smart. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But as I was getting into this, the perfume industry really needs something to shake it up. And I thought Sauvage Elixir was going to be it. You think back in the 70s and 80s, yes, they were the same. So what come along to shake it up? Cool Water. A little later into the early 90s, CK1. Acqua di Gio. Issey Miyake. You know, these that really... and then everything was... because I understand everything becomes something like that. But it's... and after Issey Miyake, you know, what came? You know, 1 million. You know, and just things, you know, every 10 years or so, something comes and shakes up the industry. And there hasn't been anything in a while. Like I said, I thought when Sauvage Elixir came out, you know, here, because it's mature, but without smelling old manish, you know. It's mature, it's strong, it's pleasing to most people. It's got a hint of that, what us old farts like in it. I was like, this is going to be great now, you know. And after it did good the first year, so I was like, oh man, this is going to be great. And then Hugo Boss comes out with Boss Bottle Elixir. Well, like different scent, still keeps the same kind of characteristics. You know, it's more mature. It's a pleasing scent with a bit of an old school vibe to it. It's spices, and it's like, oh, right, yes. And, you know, I'm getting excited. And then out comes a Gucci Elixir. And this is kind of where it starts. I'm like, oh, no. Not that Gucci Elixir wasn't different, but it had enough of a mature vibe, I guess, that it was okay. I really do like Gucci Elixir a lot, actually. But we're starting to get into the territory of the Elixir at that point now. It's like, it's just the start, so it's not bad yet, of catering to a younger audience, if that makes sense. And then it was Le Male Elixir. Again, we all know I did a review on it, a first impression. I love it. I think it's great. But it's, you know, it's got a similarity to a lot of those gourmandy, stronger with you type fragrances that are out there. I was like, oh, no. Come, reel it in. And then the next one I remember smelling was Ralph Lauren, Ralph's Club Elixir. And again, while I do like it, it's an Irish fragrance. It's got a lot of aspects of the modern masculine in it too. It's a little fruity sweet off the top. It's pretty fresh. But it's got that nice Irish. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, they're still keeping it a little different. Okay. And then I get hit with 1 million Elixir, Invictus Elixir. And the one that, you know, they were pretty much, no, they're just totally modern, slightly tweaked formulations. But the one that kicked it off was that really made me think of this video was this, when I wore it today. YSLY Elixir. It is literally just a basic Y fragrance. Tweaked a little bit with the Elixir name. And I think I said that a couple years ago when I did a video, or a year ago, about what I think is going to happen with the Elixir. That was one of the things, two of the things I was worried about was price. And that companies weren't going to, well, companies are doing what they're doing. They're just going to bring out the same fragrance, tweak it a bit. I did say make it a little stronger, but this isn't any stronger. They said it's a little weaker, actually, which is really pathetic for that price. And they're going to... And I was, you know, not that I'm any kind of sage or Sisu or anything, but, I mean, if you've been around the game long enough... Again, that's another thing. If you're a young man and you've only been doing it, you're in your 20s, you know, maybe your late 20s, early 30s, and all you've ever known is your 1 millions, your Invictuses, your stronger with yous, then this might not seem like a big deal. You say, no, it's great. But like I said, old guys like me who have been around for a while, and we've smelled so many different fragrances. And there were so many more options when I was 20 years old, 20 years ago. You could walk in and get pretty much any type of fragrance you wanted. If you wanted a floral scent, a barbershop scent, if you wanted. And I don't mean like today, because you can do that too. But yeah, but now you've got to dig for it. You walked into a perfume place when I was 20 years old, and there was a couple dozen of each style of fragrance, right? And I mean, think about it. There was Gucci Pour Homme 2, Gucci Envy, Le Male, you still had Fahrenheit was still really popular, and Azzaro, and just the list goes on and on and on and on. Cool Water was still, I mean, gone. And Acqua di Gio, Issey Miyake, you know, the list just keeps going on. And they were all different fragrances, and there was a bunch of them types. Now, and I'm saying this because I went to the store the other day, and it's the first time in a long time, I spent about an hour in the beauty department at Shoppers and just got nothing. Smelled a dozen different things, and just everything was like, no, it smells like this, or smells like that, or smells like this. Like, no. That's the first time in a long time I've spent that much time. I've gone in a few times and got nothing, but where I've actually went in with the express idea that I'm going to buy something today and left with nothing. I even went to the other one about 20 minutes away because it's a bit bigger, and it was the same thing. I spent about 40 minutes there, just no, nothing. So then I went to Sephora. That wasn't any better. Another half hour, 40 minutes of just no. And it's unfortunate, honestly. But something is going to come along. Something is going to, it has to. And I think we're reaching that zenith where the next couple of years, I thought, like I said, thought it was coming with the Sauvage Elixir. I was like, sweet, yes, awesome. We're going to start getting stuff a little more for the, I won't say mature, but for the older guys. No, they just did what I thought they were going to do. Tweak the formula and charge you twice as much, and here you go. Thank you. And that's unfortunate. Like I said, so right around the time Gucci Elixir and Le Male Elixir came out, that's when I started noticing the cracks in the Elixir armor, the lie and the promise that was the Elixir. So, and I know this is going to come off as, oh, fucking old man yelling at the cloud, mad at the sun for coming up again. I get it, especially if you're younger. I get it, but it's really not. And a lot of you guys, like I said, 35 plus, I think you'll back me up on this. It's the fragrance industry needs, it's been a good 15 years or so that, you know, we had a couple promising things, like I said, but no, I'm just, like I said, I'm getting a little, everything is redundant and unnecessary. That's the best way I can put it. Redundant and unnecessary. This was redundant, smells like why, which in turn has similarities to a lot of the other modern masculine fragrances, and unnecessary because it smells like so many other things. It's complete, and then they're charging you $250 for 60 milliliters. Oh my God, that hurts. Just saying that hurts. Yeah, it's just not, it's starting to be not fun anymore. You know, I used to go into a fragrance store, and I've noticed over the last 10 or 15 years, especially the last 5 or 6, it's getting really harder and harder to find anything that doesn't smell almost exactly like something else. You know, and I have no problem with flankers. And I have no problem with a business wanting to make money. I get it. And Vic to sell, so we'll release a flanker after flanker after flanker after flanker. The mall sells will release a flanker after flanker after flanker after sub-up flanker after flanker, etc. I get it. But there's going to come a time when that young audience you're catering to right now, and I think it's coming soon, like I said, the next couple of years, is going to be done. They're not going to be, they're going to see it the way I see it. And they're going to have the old man view. Like, I don't want this. Why would I spend money on this? I got this over here. It's the same damn thing. And then they're going to have to come up with something new. And again, I thought it was going to happen last year and this year with green fragrance. We're going to get some green, you know, some nice, dry, woody green fragrances. It's going to be so great. You know, cypress and pine and vetiver. And no, the green fragrances are literally just there's sweet, modern, masculine fragrances again with some rosemary. I mean, a little mint, you know, so they can call it green. Maybe a tiny hint of, you know, cypress or pine, but no. So, while there are hidden gems out there, I'm not saying there's not. Finding them is getting harder and harder and harder and harder. And like I said, the other day was the first time in a long time it was impossible for me. And like I smelled a couple dozen fragrances at least. I'm trying to trick myself into it because I really wanted to buy something. And I almost bought a couple and I'm glad I didn't. Just trying to trick myself. Oh, no, I'd wear that. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Or I shouldn't say I wouldn't wear it, but I have 20 other things that do it and do it better or just as well or close enough, you know, so. Which brings me to pricing now. Pricing is getting ridiculous, honestly. I'm looking at these fragrances. And, Jesus, speaker. These new releases, they're coming out just basic new releases. What the hell is wrong with you, speaker? Just basic new releases. It's like every time I turn away. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but I'm doing my best to get rid of it. Maybe that'll help. No. 1 second. Sorry, I had to unplug the complete speaker system. It just kept doing that feedback and static, and I couldn't get it to stop. What is it? The pricing. Just your basic. I mean, example, the new Eternity by Calvin Klein. $135? Fuck no. And that's a cheaper one. Most of them are going for about $180 now. $160 to $180 for a bottle of fucking fragrance. Again, the old man in me, but I remember going, not even 10 years ago, getting a 100 ml bottle of a really good fragrance. An expensive fragrance was like $120. And that was expensive. Something they've got to be careful with. You're going to start pricing yourself out of the business, right? We're in a pretty decent recession, and these are luxuries people can't afford. I'm lucky. I get it. My situation is good, but you know, I'm not rich by any means either, and I've noticed me doing it even too, going into a store and being like, oh, I like that. I don't $180 like that, you know. If it's $120, yeah, you start pushing more about that. I've got to really like it. That's why I love points. Buy stuff you need from shoppers and do it on 20 times the points days and stuff, and eventually within a month or two you have enough for a new bottle of cologne, so it's great. But yeah, just the price stuff, they've got to be careful because you know, it'll never crash. I don't want to say it'll crash or anything, the perfume industry, no. But it will take a hit. So they've got to do a couple of things. They've got to stabilize the price, bring it down and stabilize the price, I find. Not by a lot, you know. Nothing wrong with spending $130, $140 on a good new release, something by like these, you know, like a Dior or YSL. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's about the max I'd want to pay. I've paid more, and I will pay more because I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth here, but it's usually something I really like, though. But, so they've got to stabilize, they've got to bring it down a bit, stabilize the pricing as an industry, and they've really got to start adding variety, I guess is the best way to say it. Have some variety. These companies are huge, like I said. Cody, for example, $10 billion a year. It's a lot of fucking money. They can afford to take some risk and have some failures. They could have 100 failures and have one success, and it would pay for itself. And them failures. And they wouldn't be out that much money to them. It would be like you losing $5 on a good payday with overtime, and you got your tax return. I mean, you know, I thought I had $5. You wouldn't even really know. I thought I had $5. I guess I didn't. That's what it would be like to them. So, anyway, guys, that's just my 2 cents worth, really. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think the promise of the Elixir that started with Sauvage Elixir really hasn't lived up to the old man hype? And do you, like me, think the industry really does need a shakeup? Or are you completely different? And that's fine. We're allowed to be different. This is an opinion piece. Everybody's allowed an opinion. Do you think maybe it's fine the way it is and you like it the way it is and you don't mind getting, 10, 20 fragrances every year that are very, very similar to each other? Some people do, and that's perfectly fine. Are you one of them people? I doubt it if you're watching this channel, but are you one of them people that sticks with only 2 or 3 fragrances your whole life? And in that case, it doesn't bother you at all. Either way, you couldn't care. You're going to buy Aqua de Joe, for the rest of your life. You've been buying it for 20 years. God damn it, it's worked fine. I'm not going to change. There's a lot of people out there like that. People out there buying Cool Water for 40 years. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. Or 30 years, I guess. That's just the way it is. And they're not going to change. And that's fine, too. There's nothing wrong with that either. Again, if you agree or disagree, that's cool. If you do disagree and you want to comment on the video, keep it civil. Again, I know I'm asking a lot of the internet and YouTube especially, but I don't mind differences of opinion. But we're not going to, and I don't even mind debating, but we're not getting into an argument, and I won't even acknowledge if it's just, you're an idiot, blah, 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 blah. Give me the reason why you disagree, other than I just like it. There's got to be a reason. I gave you my reasons why I think it needs to change. So give me your reasons why you think it's fine and it should stay the same. I think most people, though, would agree. Any industry that's going to grow, or at least stay stable, has to evolve, has to change, has to take risk, has to give variety in whatever they get. Like video games, there was a time there, some of you may not remember, but every game with Gears of War for a time, or Halo, and it didn't do well at all. The industry went to a really low point, and that's because why would I play this game that's kind of like Halo when I have Halo? Why would I play this game that's Gears of War like when I have Gears of War? Kind of did it too with Minecraft. A lot of Minecraft clones came out, and not that I was into Minecraft or into video games even at that point, but I'm not oblivious to it either. I seen it, and Minecraft kind of ran its course because of that. So anyway, guys, yeah, do you think it needs to change? I really think if you take your rose-colored glasses off, even if you're a younger man, and look at the industry as a whole, that it needs to be shaken up a bit. It needs to be changed. Something has to happen. And I'm almost 30 minutes in, so I'm going to cut this short because I could go on for another hour. I could. So, all right, guys, just give me what you think, and thank you for watching it. I know it's long. Sorry, but sometimes I just got to do a long video. Peace, love, be good to each other, and be good to yourselves.